Okay, class is in session. Just kidding. As a student or teenager, time is on your side. Your biggest advantage is that you can start investing early and let compound interest work for you. I started at 19 and here's how my portfolio is doing today. So why don't you start now? Hey guys, welcome back to another Joyee Yang's Investing for Complete Beginners tutorial. In this video, we're diving into a topic I wish someone had taught me earlier: how to start investing as a student. When you're a student, you might feel like you don't have enough money, knowledge, or time to even think about investing. But the truth is, this stage of your life is actually the best time to start, even if you have just $10 or $25 to spare. Last year, I spoke to a room full of students, so I'm going to answer a list of frequently asked questions that I get from students all the time. We'll go over exactly how much money you should start investing, what to do if you do not have an income yet, the best beginner-friendly investments, aka Joyee, what should I buy? 4, the easiest investing strategy for students. 5, whether you should invest or pay off student loans first. 6, how and when to take your money out of the market, and exactly how to open your very first investing account. By the end of this video, I want to help you feel confident about starting your investing journey today, even if you have zero experience right now. If you're ready to learn and take action for your future self, make sure you hit the like button for good luck, grab your notebook, and let's get started. How much money should I invest as a student? If you're thinking, Joyee, I can barely buy coffee, how am I supposed to invest? Hear me out. Investing is not about starting with a huge amount, it's about building the habit and consistency. You can literally start investing with just $10 or $25 per month. It's better to invest a small amount regularly than waiting until you have enough, because time is your best friend, and by time, I mean compound interest. Realistically, here's what I would do as a student. I would review my monthly income, whether that's coming from a part-time job or monthly allowance. Then I would develop the habit of tracking my expenses so that I know how much extra I can possibly put aside at the end of every month. No matter how small the amount is, as long as I can make a deposit straight into my investment account before spending my monthly income, I would consider that a significant contribution to my future. Writing down a goal is helpful too. For example, I want to have $500 invested by the end of the year, or I'll invest 10% of every paycheck. My best recommendation for you is to start small and make it automatic. I repeat, make it automatic. Set up recurring transfers from your bank to your investment account, even if it's just $20 every month. So now, if you already have a realistic goal for how much money you're going to invest each month, write it down, even if it's just $10. This small action is your first step toward building wealth. Just to visually show you, imagine you started investing $50 a month at 0 years old. I wish I did. As you can see from this chart over here, if you're 18 years old now, you have $22,470.15. The crazy thing is, only $10,800 is your own money. So $11,670.15 is from the stock market. You've doubled your money with only $50 a month. That's the power of compound interest. What if I haven't started working yet? This is the most commonly asked question, and it's totally valid. But there are so many things that you can do now, which is going to be crucial for your future. Firstly, you should build your financial knowledge early. When you don't have your hands on money, you have the best mental capacity to approach investing because you are not affected by greed or fear of missing out. You will make some silly decisions like buying a meme stock just because everyone else is talking about it. What you can start focusing on is learning about different types of accounts, especially the TFSA, the tax-free savings account. It's the best investment account in Canada to grow your money without worrying about taxes. And then you should learn the fundamentals like compound interest, dividends, and ETFs. The earlier you build your financial knowledge, the easier investing will feel once you actually have money to put in. These beginner investing tutorials are literally free and easy to grasp if you're subscribed to this channel. Another simple action that you can take even when you don't have any fixed income yet is to set up your high interest savings account. Don't just put your allowance or gift money under your pillow. When you have unused cash, you can earn interest using a high interest savings account that pays you 2 to 4% interest. Interest is like free money that the bank pays you for parking your money there. So don't just save your money in a traditional bank that gives a super low 0.01% interest rate, and definitely do not put your money in a piggy bank. You can simply Google high interest savings account to find a higher interest rate or see the one that I personally use in the description below. The point is, you have so many better options to save your money and earn more free money. When you have a high interest savings account, you will feel more motivated to find creative ways to make some extra cash. That's because it feels so rewarding to deposit more money and get paid more in interest. Can you help your parents with chores or errands? Could you offer tutoring or babysitting on the weekends? Start building small income streams now and reward yourself by earning more interest in your high interest savings account. So yes, you can start investing even when you don't have a job yet. You can start building amazing money habits and financial knowledge. This preparation will make your investing journey so much smoother. Also, comment high interest savings account below if you're following so far, and I'll send you a link to a free tutorial of how I set up my high interest savings account. What should I invest in as a student? This is another super common question I get from you guys. As a student, your biggest priority is to obviously keep your grades up, but keep investing simple, hands-off, and stress-free. I know how busy student life can get. You have classes, exams, maybe even a part-time job, so it's tougher for you to constantly check the stock charts or keep up with financial news. There's no need to try to pick the best stocks to buy or chase the hottest stocks right now before it goes to the moon. Learn to invest with ETFs. This is what most successful investors do with their money. An ETF, or exchange traded fund, is basically a basket of many different stocks bundled together into one single investment. It is the easiest and safest way for beginners to diversify their money instantly. My favorite beginner ETF is VFV, or VOO if you're in the US. This ETF tracks the S&P 500, which is a group of the top 500 companies in the US. And by buying this one ETF, you're automatically investing in companies like Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, and many more all at once. Because you're young, you can also afford to take slightly more risk. This means you might consider having small exposure to more growth-focused ETFs, such as technology or AI-focused ETFs. Consider QQQM or AIQ if you like tech companies. You can also definitely include a small portion of riskier assets like Bitcoin in your portfolio, but keep this limited. Most of your money should stay in broad market ETFs. So what should I buy now, Joyee? My answer to your favorite question is always going to be ETFs, because this is how you can invest consistently and stress-free. That's perfect for the busy student lifestyle. Also comment ETF down below and I'll send you my top 3 ETFs to buy. What strategy should I focus on? The absolute best investing strategy for students, and everyone else in my opinion, is focusing on long-term investing. Long-term investing is not about chasing quick profits or gambling on the next hot stock. I like to put my money into quality investments and watch them grow for many years, usually 5, 10, or even 20 years and beyond, because as an investor, I want to maximize the power of compound interest. Compound interest is when your money earns interest and then that interest itself earns even more interest. If you just invest $10 every month from age 20 with an average annual return of 10%, by the time you turn 50, you'll have more than $22,600 without doing much. But the truth is, you only contributed $3.6K by investing as little as $10 a month for 30 years. The other $19K comes from the power of compound interest. Investing $3.6K for an extra $19K, who wouldn't want that? And think, if you increase your monthly contribution from $10 to $100 and even to $500, I do $1,000 now. Imagine how much more compound interest you'd be able to make. Averaging a 10% annual growth is simpler than you think. It's actually a very realistic growth rate that you can aim for because the most beginner-friendly ETFs like VFV literally has an annualized return of 10%. The best way to stick to this long-term strategy as a student is by using dollar cost averaging, or DCA. DCA simply means you invest the same amount of money regularly, like every month or every payday, no matter if the stock market is up or down. This strategy helps you avoid emotional investing decisions like panic selling when the market drops or buying at the peak when you're scared of missing out. The most successful investors like Warren Buffett all emphasize the importance of being patient and consistent. I'll send you a free step-by-step guide to automating your DCA investments, making the strategy itself entirely hands-off. You guys know what to comment below. Should I invest or pay off student loans first? This is such a good question and I get it all the time. The answer depends on one key thing, the interest rate on your student loans. Let me break it down. Historically, the stock market, specifically the S&P 500, gives an average return of around 10%. That means if you invest $1,000 a year, on average, you might make $100 a year in growth. Now look at your student loan interest rate. If your loan interest is less than 10%, then investing could give you a better return on your money than paying off the loan quickly. Let's say your student loan charges 5% interest. If you're investing and getting 10% returns, your money is technically growing faster than your debt. But if your loan interest is higher, like 12%, then you're losing more in interest than you're earning from investing. So in that case, pay off your loan first. That's the rule of thumb for all of your debt. If your student loan interest is under 10%, consider investing. If it's over 10%, pay it off faster. Now here's the mindset I want you to have as a student. You should do both. You should start investing small amounts while still making your minimum loan payments. It doesn't have to be either or. Start by investing a small amount every month and keep growing your knowledge along the way. That way, you're building wealth and managing your debt at the same time, even while you're still in school. When should I take my money out of the stock market? The cool thing about investing in stocks or ETFs is that you're in charge. You can buy or sell anytime you want. Here's a small side lesson on what liquid or liquidity means. Liquidity means how quickly and easily you can turn something into cash. For example, stocks are very liquid because you can sell them right away and get your money. A house is less liquid because it can take weeks or months to sell. End of lesson. But we don't invest our money in the stock market just to take it out in a few months. That's not what investing is for. You invest your money so it can grow over time, ideally over years or even decades. That's how you let compound interest work its magic. So when did I personally take my money out of the stock market? I made a very detailed video of my major criteria for when to sell my stocks. You can check it out later on my channel. But the simple answer is only when I need it for a major goal, like for a car or a wedding or a down payment for a home. In my case, I sold all my investments when I bought my first condo at 23 years old. That's what long-term investing is for. You build up your portfolio so that one day it can fund a big milestone in your life. Here's one more important tip. Don't try to time the market. It's way more effective to focus your time on invested in the market. That means the longer you leave your investments alone, the more chance they have to grow. The worst thing you can do is panic sell during a market dip. So if you're a student, keep it simple. Invest consistently, let it grow, and take your money out only when you've reached a goal that truly matters. How do I actually open my first investing account? This is the easiest yet the hardest step for most people. The reason why I say this is because all you actually need to do is download an app and open a brokerage account. But I've seen so many people struggle to check this off their list or not sure how to get through all the account registration steps. Think of a brokerage like the app or platform that lets you buy and sell investments. It's the middleman between you and the stock market. In Canada, my personal recommendation is Questrade or Wealthsimple. And if you're in the US, it's Robinhood, Webull, or Moomoo. You can open your account directly from your phone. Here's what you need to open your investing account. You need to be at least 18 years old or 19 depending on your province. Double check your location. You need a SIN number, your social insurance number. This is for tax and identification purposes. And of course, you need an email and access to your bank account for funding your investments. Here's the easiest way to get started. Download the app. I'll link my recommendations in the description. Choose the account type. For most young Canadians, I recommend starting with a TFSA, the tax-free savings account. It's an account that lets your investments grow without paying taxes. Fill out your personal information and submit your ID. Then you can fund your account by linking your bank account. Once your investment account is funded, you can place your first investment order. Remember, I suggest starting with beginner-friendly ETFs like VFE. Opening your first investing account might sound intimidating, but it's literally a one-step setup. After that, you'll be able to invest regularly and build wealth like a pro, even while you're still a student. Guys, the best recommendation that I can give you is to take action and worry less. The fact that you have watched this video until now tells me that you really want to put your money to work. I hope this video gives you a clearer understanding of the steps that you need to take. The end goal is to let your investing run on autopilot. Give this video a like if you agree with me. And that's what this channel is all about. I'm Joyee Yang, and I only share the simplest ways to make your money work for you. If I can do it, everyone else can do it too. I have my personal finance tracker that tracks expenses and net worth linked in the description. This can be a useful tool for anyone who wants to keep a habit of tracking personal finance growth. You can continue to learn about investing on my channel or click this video to learn about the stocks that I'm buying now. See you in the next video.